You're sitting on the couch, you're watching TV.
Man spent years in jail and may return if the child is not his. Oh, this about to be wild.
This is the case of Lapine versus Lapine.
Thank you, Jerome. Good day, everyone. For the past 30 years, you'd always believed the defendant, Mr. Lapine, was your dad.
Yes, Your Honor.
Then just months ago at a family dinner, you were told by a family member that he's not your biological father.
Yes, Your Honor.
Still in shock, you state you're here today to finally discover the truth.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Lapine, you say you've spent years in jail for unpaid child support, and your life has been turned upside down.
Yes, Your Honor.
Tomorrow, you have yet another court date.
Yes, Your Honor.
You claim, what happened the night you first learned the defendant may not be your biological father?
We was at a family dinner and we was all just discussing how our parents was, and then family members started saying that, well, you don't know if he's your dad or not because you don't look like your dad and he might not be your dad.
Wait a minute, wait. You do?
Somebody was hating. Somebody got drunk. They got into an argument and somebody was hating. Because ain't no way you just going to come out of nowhere and say, it was the way she said, well, you don't even know if that's your dad because you don't look like your dad. They were hating on her, bro.
I went to another family member and asked if this was true, and they just told me that this was not the time or place to talk about it and just shrugged it off.
Wow. So did you reach out to your father, Mr.
Yes.
And what did you say?
I called him the next day and asked him if it was true, and my father said that that guy was around at the time.
They gave you a name?
Gave me a name.
Of the man that was your father?
Yes.
Wow. All this time, you believe this young girl was your daughter?
Yes, ma'am. And I've been 4 to 5 years in jail, and it gets rough.
4 to 5 years in jail.
Yes, ma'am.
For unpaid child support.
Yes, ma'am.
For a young woman that calls you and then says, some family member told me you may not even be my biological father.
Yes, sir.
So what you telling me is, he been in jail for 5 years because somebody wanted to say that he was the daddy and he ain't been paying child support. Now, I don't know if it's his fault that he hasn't been paying child support, but he been locked up for 5 years. And then you turn around and tell me this might not even be my child. I was locked up for what?
When you get that phone call and she tells you a family member said that to her, do you go back in time to those moments after you learned her mother was pregnant?
I went all the way back. I thought about everything after that.
What were your revelations?
I counted back months. I was like, wait a minute. There's a month or two here that I wasn't even down there and she's supposed to be pregnant at this time.
You started doing some math and you felt like it didn't add up.
Yes, ma'am.
You said, well, the window of conception would have been around this time and
Yes, ma'am. Exactly.
this may or may not be mine.
Yes, ma'am.
But he gotta go
So
to jail.
after you learned, did you remember her mother being intimate with anybody else during that time?
I didn't know then.
Oh.
After me and her separated, I was told by friends of mine that they had slept with her.
Whoa!
And other people.
Wow.
Whoa!
So as you look at other daughter you claim looks like you. Jerome, I think it's time we meet her. Please escort her in.
Meet who? The other daughter or the mama? The mama gonna get these hands.
Amen.
Oh yeah, that other girl ain't his kid. That other girl is not his kid. That white lady is not that Indian
Please be
man's
seated.
child.
Thank you for joining us. And your name?
Jennifer Lapine.
Mr. Lapine is
Hey, bro, that white lady is not that Indian man's child, bro.
your father.
This is a picture we took last week of me, my dad, and my sister.
And you feel like you strongly resemble your father.
Right,
But Brandy does not.
right.
No.
Always thought that, but I mean, as you could tell, no, we don't look nothing alike, but your kids don't always look like you, so I was just like,
And your dad, well, even if you had a job, when you go to jail, you lose the job.
Yes, ma'am.
When you come out of jail, you got to find another job. And it can keep happening over and over again.
But where was he when he wasn't in jail?
Hey, hold on, bro.
I left for 10 years.
Hold on, bro.
You and her mother broke up.
I come home, she come into where I was sitting and told me, I want you to move out.
And how old was Miss Lapine then? How old was your daughter?
3.
Ain't no way.
I just packed my stuff and left. Now I wish I'd never left.
But see, you a real one, bro. You a real one, bro. And I'm gonna tell y'all why. Cause at the end of the day, I'm not finna argue with you. I've been doing everything I can for you. I've been taking care of you, taking care of our kids. This one of these kids ain't even mine. And I'm still taking care of it, doing everything I need to do. And you gonna come up in here and sit down, look at me and be like, I need you to get out. Okay, that's fine. I don't blame you. All right. Get up and leave, because at the end of the day, if you know you doing what you're supposed to do, you ain't gotta worry about that, bro. Oh, God.
Getting married soon, and I just want to know who my real dad is. I don't know.
Don't you know?
Take your time. I know this is difficult.
That was 10 years I missed out of you guys' life. Like I said, that was my mistake.
Jennifer, is there anything you'd like to add? Anything you'd like to say before we go to the results?
The lurking feeling still in the back of my mind of where were you? You know, why weren't you there? Would it have changed our childhood? You know, would things have made things different for us as we were growing up? I mean, I love your kids to death, Linda. I do, and I look at them as my brothers and sisters.
They are your brother and sister.
But in a way, I'm jealous of them because my dad raised them, but he didn't raise me. He wasn't there for me, but he was there for them.
I can see that. Where the mama at?
Yes, ma'am. Just to be.
Hold on, where the mama at? She the one need to be on the stand right now, cause she the one that was thotting and bopping while Mr. Michael Bublé was out here serving our country and making sure that the kids was okay. Where mama at? Why she not in the courtroom?
Read as follows. The first result pertains to Jennifer. In the case of Lapine versus Lapine, when it comes to Jennifer Lapine, Mr. Richard Lapine, you are her father. The next result pertains to Brandy.
I ain't gonna cop. I don't know, ain't kids. Doing my jail.
In the case of Lapine versus Lapine, as it pertains to the paternity of Ms. Brandy Lapine, Ms. Lapine, Mr. Richard Lapine.
Hey, Charles! Ah!
In the case of Lapine versus Lapine, as it pertains to the paternity of Ms. Brandy Lapine, Ms. Lapine, Mr. Richard Lapine is not your biological father.
Day after day, seems like I push against the clouds. It seems like just can't get out.
No matter what, still my daughter.
That lady wrong, bro. Where was the mama, bro? She was not there, bro. She needed to be there. She's the reason this is happening. She needed to be there, bro. She needed to be there.